Honestly, before signing up, I was skeptical. My biggest question was, is this gonna work for me? Because I find I'm a kind of person who reads a lot of self-help books and listens to different audiobooks. I'm always striving to get better and I'm reading. I felt like I don't need a lot of help, but then I also knew there is another version of myself that I can get to, or I really wanted to get to, but I didn't know how. And my hope was, or my hope has been, and Marie hasn't let me down in this journey, to get to another level, to the better version of myself. My doubt around, is this going to work for me, after signing up within the first month or so, was pretty much out the window, because I got value from the program very early on. But to be honest, it was a big decision, a big investment, and I just took the leap of faith. I want to say knowing and trusting that you can become what you want to become, and also have a picture, and it doesn't have to be crystal clear. Like, I didn't know I'm going to end up where I ended up when I signed up. I was hoping that it would happen, but I couldn't even imagine my wildest dream that I would be here last year. So having a picture of, or some sort of idea about who you want to become, and as the year go by, or as the months go by with Marie, you can ask for very specific help for your situation. And sometimes, like, even without asking, you were talking and she comes up with a really interesting idea of how you should maybe act differently or look at the situation differently, and it's been really helpful. Another thing that I would say is good to keep in mind, or it would potentially be helpful to make a decision, is just think about where you would be if you don't have somebody to help you. And so far that you maybe didn't have anybody to go to, if you have questions, what you have done, and can the resources you have available to you take you to the next level? And if the answer is no, then consider signing up. So I graduated from University of Toronto I studied medical biophysics, and what that means is I spent 4 years studying the neuroimaging and how to improve brain imaging. So this was a PhD degree. And after I graduated, I joined a startup which was very similar to what I studied in school, and I was a researcher there. After a few years, I decided that I want to maybe explore other avenues and move more towards deep learning and AI. And since then, I've been in the same field, switched a few positions, and in the past year, I joined Samsung as a manager, which Marie has been an amazing help getting me passed through the interview process. This was when we had, like, nobody was hiring, and the job market was extremely competitive. And I really felt like without her help, there was no way I could pass the interviews. Currently, I'm at EdLight. I'm the CTO of EdLight. I joined about 2 months ago, and it's been a wild journey. My introduction into the field of AI started by taking a course at Stanford on AI and natural language processing. And I got a certification, and that really set me up for a great career in the field. Hard to say what is then the greatest value. There's a lot of things that I got out of the program. One is, yes, the confidence that I can get to wherever I want to get to, and that it's very normal to doubt myself. Everyone goes through phases where they feel like they are an imposter, and it's very normal. And it doesn't mean that it's true. So getting the confidence to do what I need to get done in order to achieve what I need to achieve. Also, like I've used a lot of your tips around energy management, around being able to have a more sustainable work-life balance and getting things done in a more efficient manner. So we had a lot of discussions around the strategy, how to think about team management, managing individuals in a strategic way, and that is sustainable. So I think my previous style of management was more on I was very close to the day-to-day activities of the team, maybe too involved, maybe micromanaging a little bit. And being in this program just made me realize that what I was doing could be harmful, and how to do things differently so that I don't have to do as much and more can get done. All the components I think are complementary to each other. I didn't really expect the community, and since we moved to Slack, I really feel like I'm closer to people because I'm just one message away from them. And I've gotten to like chat with many people that in the old platform I didn't get a chance to communicate with. Oh, it was more difficult to do. The group calls are very, very interesting. Some of so the presentation that you offer is extremely interesting, but also like after the call, when people ask questions and you provide custom answers to the questions, I get a ton of value from those, because the problems or the challenges that individuals have in the team, a lot of times those are common challenges, and we can all learn from each other. I can tell you about the conversation I had with her last week, and it may sound like a generic conversation, like generic comment out of context, but the gist of it was really, when people raise concerns or ask questions, think about what is behind the question and what is behind why this may be important to them, and answer from that perspective. And I implemented that last week, and it made my boss cry. Like, she literally cried on the meeting because she was like, "Oh wow, I really feel cared for. I thought you were going to be defensive, but you're like, so it's so nice to work with you because I really feel like you cared about me and my concern." And moments like that are just so beautiful. Every time like people ask me a question, and my maybe normal reaction would have been to be defensive, but now I know that, oh, let me try to understand what is it that they're really asking me, or what is it that is really bothering me. Maybe they're not putting the question in the right form. So I joined the program when I was looking for another opportunity. I had a position that I was in, I was unhappy, but my only objective at the time was to just go to another similar position. I didn't necessarily wanted a raise. I just wanted to get out of where I was because I was so unhappy. But I got a lot more out of the program. I got to a better position and about 50% raise on top of it. And the first financial gain was 50%. And also the compensation was increased by 50%. That's 15x increase.